will be evaluated by Stefan Nabeskak. Pieter is doing his grade 3, project 2 of presentation mastery. Stefan, would you please tell us a bit more about Pieter's goals for this speech?
Mr. Taskmaster, as you mentioned, Pieter is doing his second project on level 3 for presentation mastery. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice writing and delivering a speech that inspires others. So it should be an inspiring speech. Yeah! The purpose of the speech is for the member to inspire the audience. The member needs to present a speech that inspires the audience, and the content should be engaging and the speaker entertaining. The speech content should be engaging and the speaker entertaining or moving. The speaker should be aware of the audience response and adapt or adjust to the speech as needed according to the audience. If the member appears to be talking at the audience instead of interacting with the audience, they're not fulfilling the goal of the speech. And the length of the speech, timekeeper, is 5 to 7 minutes. Mr. Taskmaster.
Thank you. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, Pieter Roos with Celebrating a Life Well Lived. Celebrating a Life Well Lived. Pieter Roos.
It took quite a bit of recalibration to connect with the mood of the room, because I was late, rushed in, and I needed to close the door as quietly as possible, but they called me out. So hopefully I've recalibrated by now, adjusted to the environment and to order. Around the start of lockdown, I became aware that I was getting old, because even though my friends are often much older than I am, a number of them turned 60. To go and you can't be 60, I didn't do 40th birthday, it's impossible. I said to Dave, you don't, I mean, Dave doesn't look a day over 50. It's impossible that you can be 60. I never thought you were that much older than I was. But with my friends growing older and my few remaining family members growing older, I had to start attending more funerals. It's a fact of life. As we all get older, more of our friends and family start passing on. And with each of the funerals I attended in the past 3 years, my dad's first, and then one of my friends had to fly down to Mossel Bay for the first time in many years, actually went down there, and more recently a friend of mine, my brother, ranging from their late 50s to their late 70s. I actually thought to myself, what do I take out of this? Because the only thing I enjoy less than a funeral is wedding. And to do this actually forces me to do stuff that's meaningful, that actually makes it worthwhile attending these events. And I took a few things out of each of these funerals that I attended. People were standing up, without exception, in each of these cases. They were standing up and they were saying good things about these people's lives. And having known them all for many years, I thought to myself, there are good things and there are bad things I could say, but unfortunately the good outweighs the bad. People came up and remember at my dad's funeral somebody said, this guy made sure that I get a job 40 years ago. I'm close to retirement now. I would never have had a job because I have a disability. And the fact that I can retire in this public service organisation is due to him. And my friends, kids, grown up in front of me, and the rest of the family actually shared things that I remember, that I could relate to, because she was a very good mum to them. And what was quite ironic and even funny, that this other friend of mine's brother's funeral was, he called one of the uncles, and with Lindsay having been well into his 70s, the uncle, you can imagine, was into his 90s. And when he called up this aged Chinese gentleman, he stood there and he said, you know, I can't remember a thing about Lindsay. That was just a until I couldn't have that feel. But I thought to myself, what makes a life well lived? What is it that makes me remember these people with fondness and look upon their lives as meaningful? Why do they have a life well lived? A life well lived is firstly about the things you do when people don't watch. But it's also about what you do when people are watching. It's about the kind of children and spouse and family members and friends that you leave behind. Because that's the direct mirror that reflects your life. It's also to a certain extent the things that you achieved in your job or your sport career or whatever other aspect of your life. And finally, it's the level of your bucket list. I've seen people amass a lot of wealth and then at the end of their lives say, if only I'd done these things. None of these people have done that. They actually have quite an empty bucket list. So tonight I want to share an example of a life well lived. I won't tell you the name up front. I'll tell you about this life. In the case of this example, this person actually gave a free time to an orphanage. Nobody saw it. But the kids who grew up, the kids who remember with fondness, will be able to relate that story. When she was watched, she stood up for what she believed. She wasn't quiet when things were said, giving tacit approval to things that fundamentally disagreed with her. She actually spoke up when she had to. If I look at the children's children, they're all happy. They're singing. They live meaningful lives. So that's kind of the gift that keeps on giving. And this individual had a stunning career because at 16 she had twins. She didn't have a husband. She didn't have anybody looking after them. She had to work long hours to raise these twins, who today are married and have kids and have a meaningful life. And she managed to raise them well. Because she actually excelled at her job. She actually did really well at her job on account of having to do that to look after the kids. In a later year, she moved to the coast, where she and her husband fulfilled their dreams. So the bucket was fairly empty. By the time I went down 2 years ago to take a funeral, there wasn't a lot that remained in the bucket. She had a life well lived. And the reason I didn't tell you the name of this person up front this evening is because this person's name is Zane, it's Jeanette, it's Lynette, it's Zukum, it's Foldy. Because this is a life that you accept, and this is a life that you choose, not a life that chooses you. These three people who spend your life together all have various adversities they have to attend. That they had to overcome. I can spend a whole evening telling you about each of their lives and the things that they had to overcome. But their life and their exceptional life that each of them lived is not that unique. Because everybody who chooses this, everybody who chooses to give of themselves when people aren't watching, everybody that chooses to speak up when people are watching, everybody who invests time in their family when they have time, because we all have time. Being too busy at work, having all of these excuses, that doesn't cut it. Because when you're old and you look at your family and they don't want to have anything to do with you, there's usually a reason for it. Kids don't just turn on their families. It's also the things that you choose to do at work and in your sport career and wherever you get the opportunity. And it is that motorcycle trip that you undertake, or that trip to Italy, or that trip back into the suit into the mountains, that you so enjoy. It's doing the things in your life that matter. Yesterday I was driving home with my son, I took him to a golf lesson, and somehow we always listen to Michael Jackson on the way home. It fills with my phone and he picks a song. And yesterday we were listening to We Are the World. So for those of you, I grew up in the 80s, so Michael Jackson was a big thing back then. My son's rediscovering, he's 11 now. And towards the end, he actually sings this line in Richard, and he says, "It's true, we'll make a better day, just you and me." We live in the world we choose. We live the lives we choose. Because people with the big story, it's like a good novel that you read. There's adversity. There's stuff that you have to overcome. And then with the opportunity that you're given, you can make something of your life. So tonight my challenge to you is choose to have a life well lived, so that when you attend your own funeral one day, you might not even recognize the person that people are paying back, because what they observed was so much more than